Look, your next few months of work may already be sitting inside estimates that you sent but forgot about. I ran into a local landscaper at the gym the other day, and somehow or another, we started talking about some of his numbers. I think it was me that asked him, how many leads you got in this month, man? Just out of curiosity. He said around 30, and I was like, okay, and how many of those have you turned into jobs? And I want to say he's had 5 projects underway, and then 3 that he has booked out for the rest of the month. So 8 jobs. Pretty good. But I asked him, what happened to the other 22 leads? I said, brother, if your average project is like 4,000 to 5,000, even that right there is almost $100,000 in quoted opportunity that you can't account for. And he kind of paused, like nobody's ever asked him that before, which could be true. See, he had completed estimates for most of them, but he couldn't tell me whether the homeowner chose somebody else, delayed their project, couldn't afford it, or they just were still considering it. Who knows? I mean, he didn't. And that is where a lot of outdoor contractors lose a ton of revenue. See, those 22 leads aren't guaranteed jobs, but they also shouldn't be treated as dead opportunities. So that conversation made me want to record this video where I'm going to go over 5 revenue leaks simply between an estimate getting sent and a job getting booked, along with some easy things that you should look at first to recover some of those projects. So what I've got on my screen here is a typical kind of sales pipeline. This works if you're doing landscaping, hardscaping, patios, outdoor living spaces, whatever it may be. This should apply to you. This is just simply the part of the pipeline between an estimate getting sent and a job getting booked. The reason why I'm focusing on this part of the pipeline is because this is where I see most revenue getting lost. So the first one is within the first week after you send a homeowner their estimate, and it's usually not having a set follow-up system in place. This is pretty simple, but you want to have a set system in place so you're not just sending an estimate and then storing it in your mental filing cabinet like my friend in the gym. No diss on him, but you want to make sure that these leads are, again, the warmest and most active in your pipeline. So just treat them that way. At least have a follow-up system that does 3 things. Make sure every estimate has an owner to it, probably the person that sent it or went to do the on-site visit, has a next action, and then next action date. That's it. Those 3 things, as long as you can create a system that makes sure every estimate has those 3 things, you're golden. Now, automation helps with this, but the actual problem, again, is just absence of a defined next step. If you can do that, you can recover a lot of quoted opportunity within this first week or so here. Now, the next problem usually comes up in the kind of 2-week range after a homeowner is now probably asking some questions and they're starting to clarify a few things, but you don't really have a consistent process for handling those inquiries. Maybe you're not quick enough or you're just not consistent enough. And so the fix that I have found with this that's really simple and straightforward is create a frequently asked questions or a fact sheet that you can reference or even send to the homeowners when they start asking these questions. And that way, whoever owns the estimate, if it's you as the owner or maybe one of your techs, they can reference that every single time, and it just gives really in-depth answers and keeps everybody consistently on the same page. And obviously, you'll update this as you grow your business and customers start asking different nuanced questions. But this also helps for training new guys or admins on this stuff as well and keeps everybody on the same page. Now, problem number 3 usually comes in that 15 to 30 day mark when the homeowner's likely drifting a little bit. Maybe they did ask some questions, you clarified with them, maybe you were pretty consistent up until this point with your follow-ups and answering their questions, but again, they're still drifting and you can't seem to figure out why. That's going to be problem number 3, is not tracking that and understanding the real reason why they're not moving forward. And I would encourage you to use objection handling language in your follow-ups. So implement this into your follow-ups up until this point. This could be something like, hey, Tony, is because the timing is a bit off for you, or does the pricing not align with your budget? Or is it something else? And asking questions like this, rather than just following up with, hey, Tony, just circling back, seeing why you're not moving forward yet. You can see the difference between those. And once you uncover the real concern, you can then decide whether to clarify the value or adjust the scope of the project, maybe offer approved financing if you do that, or schedule a later follow-up. If it is something with pricing, you can then follow up with something like, hey, I got it, Tony. Is the real issue with like your total budget, the timing of your payments, or is just the value of the project just not really showing, right? But without actually using that objection handling language, you would have never known why they were hesitant in the first place and why they're likely drifting. Really quick, if you like this type of content, you find it valuable, drop a like, subscribe, or even comment. It goes a really long way. I appreciate you. Now, problem number 4 has to do with not knowing which estimates are still open, or there's just really no view of estimates that are aging and at day 30, 60, or 90. And the simple fix for this is kind of what I have on the screen here. It's just actually using a pipeline that's not in your head. And so you can have something like Jobber, House Call Pro, Go High Level. All of these are great, but you need to make sure you're using the actual opportunity pipeline and not tracking leads in your head. If you're smart, you'll have automations that actually push these leads through your pipeline without you doing anything. Now, the last problem is something I hardly see any owner-operator doing, which is taking the leads that are in this kind of 2-month stage after sending them an estimate and putting them into a reactivation list. You might be saying, Drew, what is reactivating a lead? And think of that as just like reviving them. Okay, old leads never really die. They just fall asleep, and you need to wake them up every once in a while. And when I say every once in a while, honestly, at least once a month is a perfect cadence. You just take those leads and you put them into a simple text message or email blast with something as simple like, hey, John, we spoke about that patio project a while back. Is that still something you're hoping to complete this season, or have things changed, or has timing changed? Right? Something simple like that. You can steal that framework that I just said, because I've used that exact message, and I've helped owners add over 10 grand onto their bottom line doing these simple campaigns like this. Really easy to set up. The message is just like you just typed it out and you sent it out, high impact. So hopefully now you understand when it comes to leads that are in between sent estimate and booked job, you shouldn't be thinking about, oh man, they ghosted me, I'm moving on, where are my next leads at? Instead, you should be now thinking or asking yourself, what happened to my old estimates and which ones are still warm enough to recover, right? And I actually install automated sales machines for outdoor contractors that help convert the leads you're already getting into more booked jobs. So if you want help figuring out how much opportunity is sitting in your old estimates, do me a favor and drop a comment or just send us a DM and I'll show you exactly what I would look at first. And if you enjoyed this video, you got some value from it, all that I ask is that you drop a like, subscribe, it goes a long way. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.